Welcome back, guys. RSX all-wheel drive episode 4. In the last video, we had pretty much finished up the rear end for now. There's still obviously a bit of work to do. I have to install the clutch pack defeat kit that goes in here once I get it from my friend. And also we have to work on the center drive shaft. I know a few people are asking about the clutch pack defeat in the comments, and the reason why you want to lock this clutch pack or lock this diff is because these diffs were designed to only send so much power to the rear wheels. You need to lock this diff up so that it actually sends all the power that you can to the rear wheels. That being said, because we're going to be using a viscous coupler in the middle, technically it's not 100% to the rear wheels. There will be some sort of slip there, but if without locking this, you would get, I don't know, I think it's something like 25% of the power to the rear wheels only, and that's not enough, not really worth doing it. But anyways, hopefully that clears that up a bit. I should have the gas tank that I'm going to test out very soon, hopefully tomorrow. We'll see how this goes video wise, but I definitely want to get that in ASAP and test fit it. I have high hopes for that. But for now, the wheels are on and we've shifted focus to the front end. We have the intake manifold off and we're porting that for a bigger throttle body. I'm going to share that with you in a bit. K-Tune hooked me up with a 72mm throttle body and we're going to install that, and I'm super excited to test that out. The oil pan, over the weekend I got my friend Lucas to actually do a nice job TIG welding it. So you can actually see here, doesn't look like it's welded, but we did weld it on the inside. So just got to get it all cleaned up and back on the car, and then that's ready for the turbo drain line. And I also am doing a whole bunch of heat management. I'm going to show that with you as well. I have K-Tuned wrap. K-Tuned has great header wrap, so I'm going to be wrapping the turbo manifold and the downpipe, and then I also have their tape to wrap other parts around the turbo manifold and the turbo in the engine bay. And I'm going to get into that more as I go about doing it. But for now, we're going to keep working away and I'll keep sharing all the progress. So one other little thing we're going to install along with the turbo kit while we're doing all of this big project is a K-Tuned 72mm throttle body. I wanted to add this throttle body to improve throttle response, make a bit more power, and K-Tuned is always there and helps me out with these parts. So I thought I would just go through it a little bit instead of just bolting it on, show you the difference, and show you what we have to do to actually run this throttle body. The beauty part of this throttle body is it is a dual bolt pattern, so I will no longer have to run this adapter to run an RBC intake manifold, because in order to run an RBC intake manifold with a stock RSX Type S throttle body, you have to adapt the throttle body bolt pattern, but they've designed this throttle body so it has dual bolt patterns, so I can eliminate this adapter, and it's significantly bigger. The stock RSX throttle body, you can see, is 60, I think it's 62mm. This is 72mm, and I have both the gaskets here. That's what I was running before. This is the new one, and you can see the opening is significantly bigger. So Tyler's helping me out because in order to do this throttle body upgrade, we actually have to port out the intake manifold a significant amount. He's got it on up here. He's got it marked out where we're grinding it, and basically this is where it was originally. We've got to remove all this material so that the throttle body opening on the intake manifold will be big enough for the new throttle body. Otherwise, there would be, if you don't do this, there would be no point in upgrading the throttle body, because if you don't open this up, you're not going to get the full benefit of the larger throttle body. Plus, realistically, it might hurt power because of this step. So anyways, I'm gonna let Tyler continue on grinding this, opening it up so it'll match the new throttle body, and we'll continue going through all the other bits and pieces for this project. Also, while I'm at it, A big thing with turbo kits is heat management, and especially on RSXs and Civics and K Series, the space behind the engine where the turbo manifold goes is so compact, so tight. There's a lot of stuff in there that can melt or even just catch on fire. So I'm wrapping the turbo manifold. I know it's controversial. Some guys will say that this will make the manifold crack or whatnot, but you know what? If it cracks, I'm okay with that. I don't want the car to catch on fire due to heat. So I would prefer to reduce the heat under the engine bay with the heat wrap and prevent fire. I've actually had cars on the dyno that didn't do any heat protection, and they've either been coming close, melted a lot of stuff, or I had one car that actually had a small fire and we had to put it out with an extinguisher, and it's not fun. So I want to do everything I can to prevent fire or heat damage in the engine bay. So this is one big step, and this is actually the K-tuned heat wrap. They helped me out with this again, so I've been using it. I honestly hate doing heat wrap. It's like the worst, but the stuff works really nicely. And for example, what I have done all here was with one 25-foot roll, and I ran out. I didn't have enough to do this last runner, so I have another roll. I'm gonna finish up and basically just finish up wrapping this header. I'm gonna wrap the downpipe as well, and I also have one of the K-tuned turbo blankets for the exhaust manifold side, and a bunch of actually their gold tape to basically shield all the stuff in the engine bay behind and around the turbo manifold. So as we go through all that, I'll show you what I'm doing there, but I figured I'd share this with you before it's all finished. So yeah, so far so good. I'm gonna continue on with this, and we'll just keep working away. Okay, so that's how I wrap a header. I don't know, there might be better ways of doing it. This is how I've done it. I've only done it a handful of times, so I'm by no means an expert of it, but it turned out, I think, good enough for what I want. And yeah, it's ready to go in the car now. So I still have to do the downpipe and put the turbo blanket on the turbo, but that's about it for the manifold. So yeah, I guess let's continue on with the rest of the stuff. Alright guys, Tyler has finished port matching this RBC intake manifold to the K-tuned 72mm throttle body. You have to port match the RBC for this throttle body to get the full potential of this throttle body, because the opening on the RBC is not as big as the 72mm throttle bodies. I'm super happy with this throttle body. It's a super nice piece. I'm glad K-Tuned was able to help me out with that. And he has also installed the K-Tuned fuel rail, which is also a super nice piece. I really like the integrated, or I guess it's an option, this fuel pressure gauge. It is really nice to have a fuel pressure reading during the dyno sessions to be able to make sure we're not losing any fuel pressure at the rail, which is pretty critical during a tune. You do not want to be losing fuel pressure at the top of the red line or under full boost, so it's nice to have that there so you can just quickly reference it. Tyler also got around to installing the performance fuel injection 1000cc injectors. These are super nice. They are going to go a long way in helping me achieve the power goals of this turbo setup. They fit really easily. This is basically just slip them in. They replace the OEM injectors, no problem. All I have to do now is splice in these new pigtails. Once this manifold's back on the car, we'll be all set. So this is pretty much ready to go, pretty much ready to get back in the car. I just wanted to share it with you. I thought it was cool. It looks really nice, and I'm excited to see how it performs when this is all back up and running. So I think I got to move over and show you some more on the car now. All right guys, so I finally received the gas tank that I've been waiting for, and I am so disappointed. I had such high hopes for this gas tank, and I know a lot of you did as well. The gas tank I've been waiting for was a 2002 Mini Cooper, and Mini Cooper is probably one of the smallest cars out there, and they run the exhaust down the middle of the gas tank, so it has the appropriate clearance that you would need for a drive shaft. And I had a bunch of friends kind of measure them while they were on the car, and it seemed like it was gonna fit. It was super close, but ultimately it is not gonna work. Now that I have it here, I can properly measure it, properly fit it up, and it just will not fit. The issue with RSXs is like, if you look at this stock RSX gas tank, which I have here, it is tiny. It is so small compared to most gas tanks. And the reason for that is Honda ran the exhaust system down this side of the car beside the gas tank. And also the trailing arms take up a lot of space underneath here. And basically what we're working with is, I think, roughly 38, 39 inches. And this gas tank measures out at a little over 40. So it just does not fit. It's close, but it just does not fit. I'm so disappointed. Like I said, I had such high hopes for this. I really wanted to find an OEM solution that would work in the RSX and to help everyone out. It would make life so much easier if we could find an OEM tank that would fit in the RSX. This tank wasn't expensive. I paid like $100 for it. I had to order it, had to get one in my hands to be able to test fit it. Unfortunately, it does not fit. One of the other gas tanks I had thought might work, and a friend gave this one to me, was a Subaru. This is a Forester, which is, I guess, shared with like the Imprezas and whatnot. Technically, it's narrow enough. The issue is it's really bulky back here, and there's no way that area is gonna fit in the RSX. If it had been flat all the way across, this gas tank would have worked. But unfortunately, it has all that stuff back there, which basically just makes it not work in this application. So I don't know, I'm at a loss. There is, from what I can see, I can't really figure out a gas tank that's going to work on this application that I can just steal from another car. So I think I'm going to have to fall back on the original plan that has always been the backup, which is a fuel cell. Whether it be one that I get custom made to fit in this area, I'd really like it to remain in this area. I think there's so many benefits of it staying in this area, like weight distribution, crash protection, all kinds of stuff. I really don't like the idea of it being out back. It acts like having the weight back there doesn't help handling, and also if you get rear-ended, like it's more likely to be ruptured. Those are some of my concerns with having a fuel cell. That's why I didn't want to go with a fuel cell originally, but it's looking more and more like that is going to be the case, unfortunately. But I don't know if anyone else has some suggestions as to fuel cells or fuel tanks that might work. I'm always happy to hear them. Some of the other ones I had considered or thought about was the Scion FRS gas tank. It's a pretty small car, it's rear-wheel drive. Problem is getting your hands on one of those for a reasonable price to test fit is nearly impossible. If anyone has an FRS and can post up in the comments the dimensions of the gas tank, I would definitely be interested in seeing what they are. If they would happen to, if that tank would fit in the RSX, that might be an option. One of the other tanks I had in mind was the Hyundai Genesis Coupe. It's a fairly small car, it's rear-wheel drive, and I thought maybe its gas tank would work, but again, both those cars have gas tanks that are fairly hard to get and they're not inexpensive. So I don't know, super disappointed. Had really high hopes for this Mini Cooper gas tank. It's just not gonna work. I still have a couple ideas. I know one of my friends, he converted his EK Civic to all-wheel drive, and he bought a brand new EK Civic gas tank and just modified it. Basically modified it so it would have the clearance for the drive shaft through the middle, and that is technically a fairly economical solution. I just don't know if an EK gas tank would fit in an RSX. So back to the drawing board. Worst case scenario, I ordered up a fuel cell. Technically I really don't need it to the very end of this project when I'm ready to start it up. We still have a bunch of stuff to do for the turbo kit to finally get this car up to the point where it'll run again. So I think that's about it for this video. I want to get this uploaded so you guys can see where we're at. I'm trying to keep these videos coming, even though it's a lot of work and it's going to take a while. I feel it's probably best to just keep these videos coming so you can see the progress we're making. So yeah, I think that's about it. I'm gonna wrap things up here. I do want to say thanks to everyone for subscribing, commenting, liking. I really do appreciate all those positive comments, and I'm gonna keep up with sharing this content. So that's about it. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll have more for you soon. Bye now.